Down County Wexford Connections are raising awareness about a potentially fatal blood condition that people may not know they have. It's called haemochromatosis. I'm joined by one half of that duo, Maire Jackman. Good morning to you, Maire.
Good morning.
And I'm also joined by Ger Cashman, who is also living with haemochromatosis. Good morning to you, Ger.
Morning, Alan.
I'll come to you first off, Maire. Yourself and your brother are campaigning. So can you tell us how you were first diagnosed with haemochromatosis and then what it is?
Okay, well, I had a lot of aches and pains over the years, and I put it down to the fact that I was 54 and that we'd have a history of rheumatoid arthritis in our family. So I didn't think anything much about it, only that this is one of those things that I've developed until my brother in Dublin was diagnosed with the condition, and he encouraged or bullied us all into being tested for haemochromatosis. So we got the blood test taken with my local GP, and he found my iron levels were very, very high.
Yeah.
And he referred me on to Professor Quigley in Wexford General, and they diagnosed me then with haemochromatosis.
Right. So what is it?
It's an overload of iron in the blood.
That's it in a nutshell. You've talked about iron there, so that's what it is.
Yeah, in a nutshell, yeah.
And the effect on it then is what? How does it affect you?
Okay, so you'd be fatigued, very, very tired a lot of the time, and you could have aches and pains in your joints. It could affect your organs. I don't know yet, has it affected my organs? I'm hoping it hasn't. I'll have tests done for that, but I'm only a year diagnosed, so I'm hoping that I've caught it in time. And early intervention is the key to this, and a simple blood test will diagnose whether you have the condition or not. I suppose with that then the treatment is very, very simple. It's going and getting what they call a vivisection. It's taking some blood away, and I go down to Wexford General Hospital to the MAU unit every 2 weeks. If I could, I'd try it every week because my ferritin levels are so high. So I have a fantastic nurse down there. She's a very efficient operation, Imelda, and she actually brings me in and does the vivisection and takes me out.
So, Ger, then the symptoms, listening to what Maire has just said there, bring you a little bit closer to that microphone. The symptoms are very much tiredness. And Maire said she just recently diagnosed. How long are you living with haemochromatosis?
I suppose all my life, really, but I mean, it was just discovered, or how would I say, diagnosed about 15 years ago. And the tiredness part of it I could well relate to, because, I mean, at that time, or previously, if I went out, say, gardening or anything like that, after half an hour I'd have to come in for a rest. Now I could stay out all day, and without any impact on tiredness. You do have joint pain as well, and I suppose, and abdominal pain.
Right. And are you experiencing any of those pains at the moment?
From time to time you would. I like to have my ferritin levels low.
Just remind us what ferritin is again.
Ferritin is the iron levels in your blood, I suppose, or in your body.
Too much iron.
Yeah.
And were you fearful it might be something else before it was diagnosed?
Well, I had been in hospital about 1998, and they really couldn't get to the bottom of why I wasn't recovering rapidly. And it was a couple of years later that, at that time I think the medics weren't fully up to speed, like with the haemochromatosis in people. So since I've been found, since it's been discovered, it's been it's much easier to live with. I'm on maintenance now for about 15 years, so which means like that every so often, maybe a couple of times a year, 3 or 4 times a year, you go in, you'd have a venesection, which is taking off about a half litre, maybe half litre of blood, at each go. And that's how they draw the iron out of your system.
And is that painful? Is that a painful experience?
You get used to it. It's no worse than getting a fish hook stuck in your hand. I'd say, So it is a bigger needle than the one that's used for a normal blood test. But you just get used to it. You get on with it, and you're going to feel better.
Yeah. And we've just heard that from Maire. She was diagnosed, Professor Quigley did the diagnosis. In your case, it was 15 years ago. Was it less heard of in those days? And were people not as aware of it as we are now?
Well, people weren't aware of it it was obviously there. It's been there from the late 1800s, but because I mean, if you go back in history, like there was bloodletting and things like that you'd read about, but it just wasn't. They didn't seem to get their finger on it, I think, and especially it is a Celtic curse, which is basically like the northern hemisphere, which would be basically Ireland, and
caused by what? Does anyone know what causes it?
Well, you inherit. It's inherited, really. Like it comes from 2 chromosomes from your parents which match.
Okay.
That's how it's handed down. So one of your parents may be a carrier, the other one could have this opposite chromosome, which means that then, say I have 4 brothers, and there's only 2 of us have it. So like you wonder why that is the situation. Like, but I mean it is.
Okay.
And that is, if you go through families, like I mean, that's what you'll find. There are 2 or 3 people have it in families, and more haven't it. So like it's.
Yeah. And in your case, your brother has it.
Yeah, there's 4 siblings and 2 of us have it, but we reckon our father had it. He died at 58, and that's about 30-40 years ago. And so 2 of us out of the 4 have it.
And Jim, he worked for RTA, is that right?
He did, yeah.
And he was also the president of the National Parents Council.
Yes, he was, yeah. Yes, indeed.
And how is he now?
He's good. His ferritin levels are lower than mine, but he's been going a little bit longer than me to get to have his vivisections. So he's doing good. He's doing well, yeah.
And yet he's has donated 170 litres of blood.
Yes.
Can you continue to donate blood then?
No.
Right, okay.
No.
But he had done it prior to this?
Yes, he had, and it hadn't been picked up in all that time.
Right. Yeah. So, like, the campaign is very strong at the moment, and you're in here today, Ger. As I said, it's the anniversary of D-Day. It's D-Day for the students, but it's also D-Day for you, because you are doing a very special presentation today in Tesco, is that right?
We have an awareness day in Tesco. There is it's a World Awareness Week at the moment, this week, and the overall national day is tomorrow.
Yeah.
But because of availability of people, we decided to do it day earlier in Wexford, and we're in Tesco. Last year we were in Pessis Super Value. The year before we were in Pessis in Escarty, and prior to that we ran it in Gorey. Maire and Ger, who's the national chairperson, drives this very efficiently. She keeps us all on her toes and seeks help and doesn't really take no for an answer.
Yeah.
And we're in Tesco, so if anybody wants to drop in there to the foyer of Tesco,
you're there all day.
We're there until about 4 o'clock.
And again, I know you're repeating yourself, and I'm repeating the question, but the symptoms are very important. And how long was it before you actually and Jim went to get treatment on this?
Well, it happened very quickly, because we were suffering with the pains and the aches all over the years, and we just thought it was the normal course of events for us.
And you were sharing this experience as brother and sister?
Yeah, we were, yeah.
Are you doing the same with your brother, Ger?
Not really.
No?
Yeah.
No.
My brother lives in Galway, and
so he would only meet on occasion.
Highlighted it to me. He was the one that was first diagnosed, because she couldn't understand why he was lethargic.
Yeah.
And he had a busy job, so I mean, he was the first one in our family to be diagnosed, and it was highlighted to me, and I kind of put off going to the doctor, but eventually I did, and when I did it
that's a male thing, isn't it? Putting off going to the doctor.
It is, yeah.
Was Jim the same?
Yeah, I think so, but a simple blood test will tell you very quickly, and that's all it takes, and it'll tell you whether you have it or not.
And tiredness and fatigue are the main elements, and pain.
Yeah, but your organs...
joint pain and abdominal pain.
Yeah, and your organs could be affected and you mightn't know it. So it's really early diagnosis is very important.
And the treatment again, I know we're repeating ourselves.
Yeah, that's okay. Just a simple, take a half litre of blood, or just a blood through a vivisection, and it's just like giving. It's just they put a needle in your arm and take it out of the vein. Yeah.
That stand is all day today. Is it up to 5 or 6 o'clock this evening? You'll be there at Tesco.
While we have volunteers.
While you have volunteers. And the main event, Haemochromatosis awareness, is all this week?
All this week, yeah.
All this week. Thanks for sharing your story with us this morning, Ger.
Thanks, Alan.
Is there anything else you'd like to add before we let you go? I think we have a comment. I think we have a text coming in. Is that right? Just hang on a sec there now.